He's our closer. From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, this is Street Smart with Trish Regan and Adam Johnson.
Cover that later in the show. Matt Miller, thank you very much. We'll be talking to you throughout, but right now it's time for our top story. Ron Johnson's sudden departure as CEO of JCPenney, the retailer's new mantra, out with the new, in with the old. Mike Ullman, the man who ran JCPenney before Ron Johnson, is stepping back in. Johnson was fired after just 17 months on the job. In a securities filing, JCPenney says Johnson's departure is, quote, not the result of any disagreement with the company or the board of directors on any matter relating to the company's operations, policies, or practices. But was it? Johnson was expected to turn the company around. After all, he was the man who reinvented retail at Apple. Yet his plan to turn JCPenney into a bunch of mini stores, it fell flat with investors. Shares are down 60% over the past year. Yesterday, the stock surged on the news that he was out, and then today dropped on reports Ullman was stepping in. So the question we're asking here today is, JCPenney unfixable? What is it going to take to repair its reputation with shoppers and investors? For that, we're bringing in our experts. Howard Davidowitz from Davidowitz and Associates, Jeff Hayzlett, former chief marketing officer at Kodak and author of multiple books on management and corporate strategy, and our very own Sheila Dharmarajan. All right, first, over to you, Howard. I mean, why bring back someone who essentially was considered a failure before?
They didn't know what to do. The company's in free fall. It might not survive. It's burning tremendous amounts of cash. CIT is just charging an extra 1% to ship pennies. That could start a run on pennies, a cutback in their supply. That will take hundreds of millions of dollars out of pennies cash to make up those terms. We're talking about heavy-duty, life of the company, survival, restructuring. That's where Ron Johnson has brought him. He has totally destroyed the company in no time. This is the worst retail performance on a large scale I've seen in 40 years. There's nothing ever close to it.
It sounds like this is real disaster.
This is real heavy duty. This was a stable company, earning decent money, lousy, going along.
Yeah, about $1.50 a share for several years.
$1.50 a share, rolling, not glamorous, right? You know, rolling along. And this guy came in, and the board sat there, and watched this guy destroy the company. And some of the things he did, you really have to question the sanity. For example, he came in, he threw out all the coupons. Okay. One other company tried that. That was Macy's when they merged with May Company, because May Company was a big user of coupons.
Right.
They cut back the coupons. It almost put Macy's under. I mean, they immediately fired the woman, the director of marketing, who did it, a very high-profile hire from American Airlines. They booted her out. They immediately put back those coupons because Macy's is a very well-managed company, and they fixed it.
Wow.
This guy did no testing. He just did it across the board. That was one of 10 loony things this guy did.
All right, it may have worked at Apple, but Jeff Hayzlett, it sounds like Mr. Johnson's strategies really, according to Howard, just drove JCPenney deeper and deeper into the red. Does this strike you, though, as a sign of desperation that they've got to go back to the old CEO?
Well, it's tough. Howard's actually giving us the good news. The bad news is that it's really bleeding right off the logo. You can see it. They better be changing the color of the logo. They need to get back to the founder's real name. His name is James Cash Penney. That's what they have to do. And here was Ron Johnson, the guy that invented the Genius Bar, but where was the genius? Nothing there. As they say back in my home state of South Dakota, this dog don't hunt. And then they went back, and now they've really gone back, and they pulled out the second-string quarterback, the guy they've already replaced, put out to retirement. They're bringing him back. It doesn't set well. They really need to do, and I've said this publicly, look, if I were the new CEO, I would be putting a cot in the storeroom, sleeping there day and night, doing anything I can, just like any good business person. Really, the responsibility actually lies with the board of directors here. I'm with Howard. Where were these guys? They were out to lunch. They needed to be coming in here and doing the right things, and they didn't do it.
Did they wait too long, Sheila, before getting rid of Mr. Johnson?
You know, a lot of people say so, and to put some context around the numbers that Howard was talking about, this is a company that burned through $1 billion of cash last year, on track to burn through another $1 billion this year. Also, if you take a look at same-store sales under Ron Johnson, for 4 quarters in a row, producing about negative 20 to 30% comp store sales. So really some atrocious numbers here.
It's hard to fathom that customers would leave the company to that extent. Look at that. 4th quarter, same-store sales down 32%. It's mind-boggling. Jeff Hayzlett,
I'm just curious, though, like when you compare this with other retailers, because we know we've been in a tough economic environment, how much could they blame on just a tough economy versus their own poor mismanagement? Jeff, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say these are bonehead moves. I mean, come on. Everyone knows. You look at history. You don't go to your customer set who is used to shopping on sales, 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 and say we're going to stop that. And that's what they did. Sales started declining immediately. They started sneaking it back in. Now, the good thing about Ullman, he is the Mr. Promotion. He's always been known for that, so that is a bright spot. The problem is he's just not up to speed yet. They really need someone to come in here and really overhaul this place, get the team motivated. I mean, you think about it. When Johnson was head of Apple stores, you go into an Apple store, they're excited to work with you. They're excited to wait on you. They want to help. You don't get that same feeling when you're in JCPenney's. They need to hire more people. Hey, you know, there's a company here in San Francisco went public, RMG yesterday, digital signage. Put those in. You know, find a different way to really jazz this place up and get some business going.
Well, here's how they're going to fix it. They got to do it in stages. Number one, you have to stabilize the business so you don't go broke. That means restructuring. That means liquidity. And that probably means sale of real estate. You're going to have real restructuring almost immediately. Here's the reason. You've got stuff on order through the year. It's
but here's
done.
The thing, Howard.
Martha Stewart stuff is all made.
Well, that's...
Can you imagine?
What do you do with it? What do you do with it?
You pay for it. And you're stuck. That's what you do. In other words, they're committed to a bunch of loony things, Martha Stewart being one of the looniest. So here they are. I mean, and everything is on order, and all the stores are being torn apart and remodeled. When I talk restructuring, I'm the new CEO, and we've done about 64 restructurings. The first thing you'll do is you'll look at that CapEx. What can you stop? What can you stop the bleeding?
Spending the money to
spending the money. The first thing I look at is what can you do? What can you sell?
Oh, wait, let me ask you this.
You must have credibility, because if the factors pull back, if they shorten your terms,
which, as you pointed out, CIT is already doing.
The leading factor in apparel, and 6 others have already quietly followed. When CIT does it, everybody does it. That means you have to come up with cash to match that. Now, when you're burning $1 billion a year, and now you have to come up with this money.
You think bankruptcy is in the future? I mean, the way you're talking, it doesn't sound like they're going to be able to fix this.
That's why they have to do it in stages. The first stage is stabilize. You can't think about fixing the business. You'll go mad. Everything is on order. You can't stop it. You have contracts, all the merchandise. A lot of the stuff for the year is done. So you got to think about what you can do. I'm used to this. We do it with our own money. So the first thing you have to do is promotion. Now that you can change.
Absolutely.
You can change. You have to look at what you can change. You can change promotion. You can change liquidity. You can change cost structure. You can sell off real estate. They got tons of it. About 30% of them, it's actually great. 20%'s good. The rest is crap. But it's, you know, but they could raise a lot of money. They got to start to think about it. So once you stabilize, then you can start working to fix the thing. But right now, if you can't stabilize it, you're a goner.
All right, stabilization, the name of the game. Howard Davidowitz, thank you so much. Jeff Hayzlett, thank you so much. Sheila Dharmarajan, great to see you as always. All right, Herbalife, it's another one that's back in the headlines today. The company's lead auditor